Back when I was in high school, I wanted to be a game developer. I even took computer programming classes with this in mind. And the entry-level programming class that they had was learning QBasic. QBasic is the bottom most simple programming language that you can learn. And, needless to say, I hated it. Programming bored the crap out of me. I'm really glad I didn't pursue that career. I mean, why make my own thing when I can just make a video of someone else's thing and then call it my own? Nobody in my class cared about actually learning QBasic. Instead, everybody was all about a game that came built in with it, Gorillas. Whenever I was in programming class and I wanted to avoid doing any work, I would look over my shoulder to see my fellow students playing Gorillas, who were avoiding doing any actual work. But whenever I saw that game, all I could say out loud was, "So it's a suckier version of Scorched Earth." Nobody knew what I was talking about, and how could they? As a young, bright-eyed, impressionable young child, Scorched Earth was probably the first DOS game that I ever played, followed immediately by Doom. I turned out fine. Now you may not realize it, but Scorched Earth, released in 1991, is the single most important video game ever created, because every game you've ever played is thanks to it. Every single game ever made has been birthed from Scorched Earth. For you see, Scorched Earth is the mother of all games. It says so on the title screen, so it must be true. Scorched Earth is a simple game where randomly placed tanks placed on randomly generated land try to blow each other up. I already know what you're thinking, and yes, you're right. Damn, does this game have graphics? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you not impressed? Then how about this? You are now free to pick your jaw up from the floor. The gameplay is simple. Try to shoot the other tanks. You can change the angle of your barrel and the power it shoots at, and then hope it hits. That's pretty much it. You'll be great at this game if you have an innate affinity for geometry. The rest of us have to deal with figuring out angles based on 2 to 3 pixels. This is even more difficult when you're playing this at age 6 and your only indication is the flaccid barrel of your tank. Every round ends up being a sort of process of elimination as you slowly tweak the angle and power of your shots, while compensating for any wind, to land your shots. With a bunch of human players playing at once, everything is slow. It's a lot of waiting and hoping for the best. Thankfully, computer players are a bit better than that. They have a variety of AI settings, and these actually dictate their behaviors rather than being a easy to hard setting. Which means tossers lob their shots, while pool sharks try for the most direct shots as possible, cyborgs are bullshit, and morons are all I played against as a kid. Although, even with their highly advanced AI settings, if there's ever just 2 computers remaining, you should expect a literal stalemate, as either one is unable to stray from their parameters to actually land a shot. At its core, the Scorched Earth gameplay isn't anything revolutionary. It's been done before, and has been done numerous times since. But what makes it so good and memorable is the sheer amount of variety this game has, starting with its multitude of weapons. Before every round, you are brought into a shop where you can purchase all kinds of weapons and equipment. This is what makes the game so good, variety in weapons and options. The basic stuff is things like baby missiles, and nukes. As satisfying as the explosions are, I strangely always loved the way they wiped away, one color layer at a time. Something about it is so cathartic, like a lava lamp. Nah, these explosions aren't quite good enough. Thankfully, Scorched Earth contains a little option to take the explosion levels and kick them the f up a notch. There we go. Remember that nuke you can buy? Here's its normal explosion. And this is it maxed out. Oh, it's still going. There we go. I have stared into the abyss, and the abyss stared back. Other fun weapons include the napalm, which fills up areas with lava and then burns away. This makes it extra funny against anyone who's stuck in a crater. Plus, with this one, you can literally scorch the earth. Ha! Some weapons aren't as useful, like the ones to get rid of the terrain. Or even more counterintuitive, making dirt. If I had to have a favorite weapon out of all of them, it'd either have to be the Death's Head or the Funky Bomb. The Death's Head works just like the Merv, where it splits into 9 missiles mid-air, each one with the destructive power of a baby nuke. Basically, it's hard to miss with. And equally hard to not hit yourself with. Whoops. But it's not as hilarious as the Funky Bomb. I mean, you can aim with it, but it hardly matters, because the moment it lands, chaos ensues! Look at all the colors! Listen to the sound effects! Look at the destruction! And if all of these lollipops weren't enough killing for you, it gives one last kaboom for good measure. Super dead. Just as enjoyable as killing things with all of these sweet weapons is watching people die. Don't take that out of context. Every time someone is destroyed, a random death animation happens. Some of them are stupid. Fart. Some of them are awesome, like being beamed into space. Few things are as hilarious as killing someone with a funky bomb and having them explode into another funky bomb. That's good sound effects. Other times, they just regular explode, and then they explode again, and then they explode one more time the size of a nuke. I believe it was Sun Tzu in The Art of War who said, "Destroying your enemy might get yourself killed too, you dumbass." At least when you're facing off against computers, you won't feel so bad about killing them since they're frequently named after horrific dictators from history. Gaddafi, Castro, Cher. If all of the weapons weren't enough variables in the gameplay for you, there's also the environment. Wind constantly changes after every shot and can alter your angles. How does a cavern have 45-mile-per-hour wind? Even the weather can mess you up. Storms can make lightning hit you in a completely unfair fashion, and a starry night sky might make a shooting star obliterate you. On top of this, there's also the walls. If you didn't notice, they'll be different colors, with each different color having a different effect. No color means the shots will fly off into the distance and vanish. Otherwise, they'll be concrete or rubber to make shots bounce around. Or my favorite, the wraparound, where no matter how hard and how far you shoot, those bullets gotta land sometime. This makes for beautiful Hail Mary death's headshots where you just don't give a damn and everybody dies! You're dead! He's dead! I'm dead! The Earth's dead! All of this gameplay is excellent on its own, but what makes Scorched Earth so addicting is the sheer amount of customization that this game offers. Every little thing can be adjusted. Change how much money people get, what kind of weaponry is available, the walls. Make it so that every shot happens all at once. You can completely change the physics of everything. Want to change the landscape? Have at it. More wind, less wind, remove gravity so that dirt doesn't fall anymore? Why not? You can even turn on talking tanks so that everyone will say things before they shoot and after they die. Most of these are now super dated references. Thankfully, it isn't difficult to go into the text file and change what they can say, allowing for a more personal touch when wreaking havoc. There really aren't a whole lot of glitches in this game, but I always remembered one. Pick the smallest tank there is, and then buy a bunch of fuel. When it's your turn, get ready to move, but instead, just go back and forth over and over again, and then you'll fly! And immediately fall as soon as you're done. Is this useful? Not especially, unless you do it to crush an enemy tank to death. I honestly can't stretch enough how addicting this game is. I got way more footage than I ever needed for this video because I couldn't stop playing it. And I was laughing and having fun with every single shot. That's why my final rating for this game is a Funky Bomb out of 10. It looks and sounds simple, but it has controlled chaos that makes for a real classic gem. Scorched Earth truly is the mother of all games. It's infinitely replayable thanks to its myriad of options, all that can be tweaked to your liking. Have a fair and balanced game if you want, or make everything crazy for the hell of it. The gameplay is solid enough to make you enjoy your time with it at any given moment, but it really is the extreme customization that makes you keep coming back. And I think this is why, even as my first DOS game ever, it's stuck with me for so long. I still have just as much fun playing it as I did back then. And this is one of those games where you can go back and play it at any age, and it'll be great. And remember, when it seems like there are obstacles in life, and you just can't get past them no matter what you do, just remember, drive through the shields. Boop. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and be sure to check out my last video I did on Carmen Sandiego. And do you ever wish someone would just talk about PlayStation games? Well, then you should go check out Ked Icarus. He's great.